the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 321 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, I got to the third word of the podcast, and I already stumbled, so that's just how we're going to go tonight.
Just talked about how you're Ron Burgundy, and we had to update the intro so you'd get it right, and you got nervous.
Yeah, still screwed it up.
It happens. It happens, man. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm just dreading the week. Well, not dreading, but looking forward to and dreading at the same time the week I have ahead of me. So it's gonna be fun.
You are in the thick of it. You are in. Hockey is like a 11th month a year sport for you at this point.
Yeah,
it's all hockey all the time, and some lacrosse, and we have the podcast too.
Yeah, I will be non-existent for the next week and a half, which will, it's going to affect the podcast next week. We'll talk more about that later. But it's going to be crazy. The day job ends tomorrow, and then I immediately switch gears tomorrow evening into hockey Memorial Cup coverage mode, and that's my life for the next 10 days, something like that.
Man.
Yeah. I'll be living at the Dow Event Center pretty much.
Well, Saginaw will have you. There's going to be plenty of food trucks and stuff down there, so you're going to have all the comforts of home. There's
going to be lots of stuff to do. If anybody's in the Michigan area and likes hockey, the Memorial Cup coming to Saginaw going to be a huge deal, once in a lifetime opportunity. The CHL's three best teams plus the Saginaw Spirit will face off in a round robin tournament. It's a good time. I know this isn't a hockey podcast, but it's a good time, and that's my life.
Yeah, so we have Michigan-based listeners. Yeah. So if they want to come say hi to you, you go. Just go do that.
Yeah, come find me.
I will be going the opposite direction of you.
Yeah.
Which is typically how I operate.
Yeah.
I go the opposite direction of you every day of the week except for this one.
Yeah. Pretty much. And you so much so that we have not done this in person since prior to COVID.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, you used to come to my house on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Way back when, but yeah. Well, maybe you have to do that more often.
That was when I was living in a trailer, James. Literally living in a trailer. So yeah, crazy stuff.
You've been through it. This is nothing. You've got this.
Well, on that note, let's talk about the All-Star race, James. And I guess there's no point in belaboring it. There's no point in putting it off like Denny Hamlin did on his podcast this week. We're gonna get right into it. Let's talk the fight, because that's what really mattered on Sunday night at North Wilkesboro. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. makes a promise early and keeps it.
From lap 2 all the way to lap 200.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Eric, but I was watching that entire race just waiting for what Ricky was going to do at the end of the race, because he said he was going to do it. And I thought, I think he's going to do it.
I didn't think he was going to do it. I did not think he would follow through. When people call their shot, they never do it.
Well, Ricky's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So go out there and let him have it.
I love Kyle Busch, but boy, I was giddy. Well, I'm sitting there watching the interview, and they're talking. They're interviewing Logano. They got them talking on the side, and I'm like, oh, they're not going to fight. And all of a sudden, he takes a swing. I'm like, oh, man, here we go. I was so excited.
Oh, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was... that delivered. I kind of wish they could have fought it out just a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Denny said that Ricky said that on Stacking Pennies this week. He says they need to at least let the other guy get a swing in. So
yeah.
And that's Ricky saying his opponent should have gotten a swing. So that's good sportsmanship.
Yeah. Well, I think Kyle probably could have gotten a swing in if Ricky wouldn't. I actually tweeted this because I don't think anybody else commented on it that I could see. Ricky threw Kyle like across his body with the left hand. And I was just like, man, Ricky's strong.
Yeah. Kyle got a couple shots in. It was the wrong Stenhouse.
Yeah, he got Ricky Sr. And whoever his pit crew member is, who's the size of a linebacker.
He's the size of a house, man.
Yeah, he got his shots in too.
He's been waiting for that. You could tell he's been waiting for that.
That was so good.
He was so excited to be clearing people off that.
There's so many things with that fight that we're not going to even get covered.
Oh, it's so
there's
good.
So much going on, but man, oh man, was that fun.
You want to know what the best part of it was, James? The best
Can
part.
I take a guess?
Here's some behind. Here, sure, go ahead.
The best part of it to me was Jordan Bianchi's video following Kyle.
Where you see Ricky leaning there?
Where you see Ricky standing by himself, leaning with his legs crossed.
That's good stuff. No,
I mean, it was cinematic.
Let me tell you. So here's some inside baseball from somebody who's been at the track and covered the sport with these guys time to time. So Bob started doing video when he switched over to Fox. He used to just have a tape recorder or have a digital recorder and he record audio. He switched over to holding his phone for Fox. And this year, I believe this year or last year, he got one of those like 360 cam gimbal things.
Yep.
So that's what he's using to record the video because it's nice and steady and it gets you a good shot.
Yep.
Well,
I have one of those at my office at my normal job. We have a gimbal.
So when he got shoved, the gimbal went crazy and spun around, and we got that great shot of Bob's face, which was so awesome. It's so good. It's his profile pic on Twitter now, which I love. Davey Siegel ended up underneath Kyle Busch.
The memes that are coming out of that
so
whole
good,
like Bob's face, and then the Joe Biden doing the curtain opening and then getting scared with Bob's face. I mean, that kills me. Everything with the Kyle walking towards Ricky.
Yeah.
Like all of those memes are so funny. There's so many funny things that have come out of that.
Just great stuff.
Man,
can you imagine
I
Ricky is sitting there for 80 minutes just stewing, man. And so first of all, he comes out of the care center. He talks to Fox. He calls a shot to Fox. Then he goes to the media center. He talks to the media in the media center. He calls his shot again. Then, according to Denny Hamlin, he's on his group chat during the race, messaging the people, half of who are in the race and the other half who are in the garage, again, saying what he's going to do. I forgot the part two before where he climbed up on the pit box to tell Kyle's crew chief that he was going to do it.
Oh, he parked in his pit stall and said, "You guys clean it up."
Yes.
So.
It was so good. Like, okay, let's talk about the contact first of all. Did Kyle have a right to be upset?
Not really. I don't think so. Not this time.
I disagree. I think Ricky didn't hit him first. Kyle hit the wall first, but there was contact coming. And I'm getting this a little bit from Denny too, because I did listen to his podcast and he talked about it. But I agree with Denny on it. There was contact coming. Ricky put him in a bad spot. It's lap one. I mean, it was a bad move. Did he deserve to get wrecked for it? No.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle didn't really hit the wall because I don't think Kyle really hit the wall because of Ricky. Kyle hit the wall because Kyle didn't want to give him a spot.
Yeah, but I mean, Ricky went 3 wide, and I mean, he didn't leave him any room. There wasn't room there. So, but again, you lift and then you keep going. Like you don't.
Well, I've been kind of a theme of our podcast this year is like, do you live to fight another day?
Right.
And Kyle just decided,
Kyle chose violence.
He did. He definitely chose violence.
So he piles him into turn one. Again, I don't think Kyle was trying to put him in the wall. I think he was trying to spin him out, and I think Ricky overcorrected and put himself in the wall.
Yeah, he definitely did that.
But completely unnecessary contact to begin with. It certainly had shades of Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday to it, except on a much slower racetrack and not under caution.
Yeah.
Which is probably the reason that Kyle won't be suspended for it.
No, he probably can't be suspended for that one.
No, and it's a short track. You get away with wrecking somebody on a short track.
Yeah, and he definitely. I mean, it wasn't a hook, but it was an aggressive shove. So.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, Ricky made solid contact with the wall. That's a hard hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, at the end of his day, not so much that he couldn't drive the car and park it on pit road, but yeah, ended his day. So.
I think again, love Kyle Busch. He deserved every bit of what he got after the race.
I'm on Twitter right now, and this is relevant.
Yeah. Oh no.
Richard Childress got interviewed by someone named Chris Weaver today.
Okay.
Chris Weaver tweets, Richard Childress had a message for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. when we talked to him today,
Oh, boy.
prior to the Helping a Hero Patriot Award dinner. He says, if Ricky touches Kyle Busch's 8 car at Charlotte, he will personally whoop Ricky's bleep. And he also wishes that he had stayed to fight on Sunday.
Wow. That's good stuff. And Ricky said he's going to wreck him this week.
Well, Richard Childress famously beat Kyle's, you know what?
Yeah, hold my watch. That Ricky used the line.
Yeah, I hope Richard holds my watch.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I saw the tweet. I'm like, damn.
2024 bingo card, James. Did you see Richard Childress standing up for Kyle Busch on your bingo card for 2024?
I guess he has to, right?
It's just amazing.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I would have said no.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, still no. Oh, man.
So my only issue with this whole thing, I
don't have any issues with it, by the way. I do. Whole thing.
The issue that I have is your dad needs to stay out of it.
Well, yeah.
And I don't blame Ricky for that. I blame Rick Sr. for that.
Ricky Sr. Yeah, Ricky Sr.
That's his fault. But these dads jumping into this stuff, let your kid battle it out and do his thing. I got news. My kids get themselves into something like that, they're on their own, man. I'm not going to sit there I'm not going to let them get hurt, but I'm not going after the guy. I'd just be pulling people apart. And he was going after Kyle. I
can't wait for your boys to get in a scrap someday.
It'll happen. They play hockey, so.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I think
Ricky Sr. needs to probably. You're too old to get in there.
He's going to lose his hard cart for a couple weeks at least, right? I mean,
yeah, he probably should. There might be a couple people in there who lost their.
Yeah, there might be a couple crew members too, because again, we don't want crew members getting involved. But you also did it at the hauler, so what do you expect?
Guys are getting thrown over tires. It was pretty.
It's really, when you really think about it, it's pretty dangerous. You got people falling on their backs by the lift gates on the trucks. There's a lot of metal. There's a lot of sharp components back there. Both drivers tackled to the ground over tires.
And I'm not trying to sound. I don't want to sound. I don't want to mansplain things, but like Alex Weaver, there was a whole slew of different kinds of people down there. Look at Bob's face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bob's face will explain.
Well,
like
every single media member was there because Ricky has been telling everybody for an hour and a half that he's going to do this.
2 hours he's going to be.
Where is everybody going to go? But they're going to follow Kyle Busch. So of course there's a million media people there, which is great for us because we've got so many camera angles of this. Like,
oh my god!
I mean, we got
another
reenactment on the teardown, which was great.
Yes, dramatic read. Oh man, yeah. Well, and that's the best part about Twitter, and this is why I couldn't go to sleep for the most part that night, because I kept waiting for the next video to drop.
Yep.
And the next video just kept coming. And here's Bob's angle of it. And here's Jordan's angle of it.
My wife was irritated with me. She was irritated with me because she thought I was up there playing video games. Because the audio has the fireworks in the background.
Oh, yeah.
So she thought it was gunshots in a video game.
Yeah. Well, and I was watching. So I had my whole night. My whole night was kind of laid out.
Yeah.
And everything was starting early enough where I could kind of stay up past my normal bedtime. So the race was on at the same time as the Timberwolves Nuggets Game 7, which I was really into. Like, that was a good series.
Yeah.
Good basketball series. I'm like, oh, this is great. We got the next young superstar, Anthony Edwards, and we've got the defending champs on the ropes. This is gonna be great. So I'm 2-screening it. Get the kids to bed. Watch the end. I'm like watching the race. I'm like, oh crap, there's gonna be a fight at the end of this race. So I get off the 2-screen mode because obviously I watched the conclusion of the race. I'm sitting there. I'm like, Joey, we'll talk about Joey, but Joey's up there, and I'm shaking. I'm like, get Joey off the screen.
Right.
Get to Kyle Busch's pit. And so I'm like nervously bouncing, and then it happens. I'm all excited. I'm fired up, and then I turn the race off after the coverage ends, so I can have Game 7, which is just starting the fourth quarter. So I'm like, oh, it's perfect. I can watch Game 7. And I didn't watch any basketball because I was on my phone watching all the fights. And then the basketball game was phenomenal. Like, the basketball game was great, but I was definitely not paying attention to it. So.
Every time I finish analyzing one clip, a new clip would come up, and it's like, oh man, we have a whole new angle now. We get a whole new view of it.
And we haven't had a fight. Like, we've had fights. Like, Noah's fought some people.
Yeah.
We've had. Oh, remember the Michael McDowell when he basically got thrown by Daniel Suarez?
Yep.
But there hasn't been a good, like, everybody's surrounded, like Clint Boyer versus Jeff Gordon, or
right.
Joey Logano versus Kyle Busch. Like, we haven't had one of those in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this was so good. The anticipation was just phenomenal.
Well, it's also at a short track. I can guarantee you that they could see it from the stands.
Oh yeah.
And
you've been there. You know what the infield looks like.
There's
sure
I mean, you
right
can't
there.
see it from the whole stands, but there's spots in the stands that could see that. I mean, how awesome. Great.
And shout out to Ricky. He landed it. He
Yeah.
landed the punch.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, and they were talking on, I think it was Denny's podcast again. He was talking about, like, Kyle's just about ready to start defusing the situation. And Ricky, it's like Ricky goes, oh, this is my last chance. I got to take a swing. Because if he would have waited another half a second, he's now the asshole because Kyle Busch started to apologize.
Well, and the eyes.
Yeah.
Ricky's eyes. He looked like a crazed.
I don't know, man. I couldn't look at his eyes because I was too busy looking at those goofy ass shorts he was wearing. I mean, if you're gonna get in a fight, at least wear some respectable shorts.
He was just making sure he was comfy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'll never get the image of him standing at Kyle Busch's collar. I will never. That image will last a lifetime.
Here's the thing: if you get into a confrontation, take the swing. Don't even think about it. Just take the swing because you're only getting one, and the other guy's not getting a follow up. Well, so just take the freaking swing.
Ricky tried to talk to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ricky ever intended not to swing. I think he was. He was gonna swing.
We don't. You look at Kyle. He does the eye roll thing, like the whatever that he does. I mean,
we haven't seen that version of Kyle in a minute.
Again, I love Kyle Busch, but he is probably one of the most punchable drivers in the NASCAR circuit.
Oh, he's always been. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He has that cocky 2-year-old attitude, and Joey's another one. Logano's one because he's got that smirk. You know,
and Kyle has a funny. Like, all race car drivers are built differently.
Right.
Like Ricky's a CrossFit, like, weightlifting type guy, so he's kind of broad, right?
Right.
Kyle is just, like, scrawny. He's got the little pooch, and he just doesn't look like he's ready to fight.
Right.
He just doesn't look. But he will. Kyle will fight.
Yeah, he's scrappier than he appears to be. Plus, he's tall. I mean, he's a big dude.
And he's old. I mean, he's older now too. He's not. He's not the younger version of himself, or even his brother. Because Kurt was known to get into a few things. So,
I mean,
we didn't talk about Kyle screaming from his trailer.
It's pretty good.
I don't care if you wreck me at Charlotte. I suck too.
Right.
I just suck just as bad as you.
I suck just as bad as you. Yeah.
Just throwing everybody under the bus.
That by the way is a T-shirt now that North Wilkesboro is selling.
Yes.
I suck just as bad as you. Let's go.
Oh man. And
that's the thing. That's the best part about this whole thing, James, is this was a race for what, like 18th on the track.
Meaningless.
And neither of these guys might as well not even been in the race.
Yeah, they didn't bring their best stuff to this race.
Right. So here it's not even like it was a race for the lead or anything. But
one, what did the Teardown call their episode? One Icy Hot Night?
Yes.
Because of the sponsorship. Beautiful.
Yes.
That's why you team up with Dirty Mo.
Right yeah. Ricky dropped the ball by not dropping the Icy Hot line in the post-fight interview with Jamie Little. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's no Michael Waltrip, that's for sure.
No.
Michael would have gotten that plug in there for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean,
he wasn't there.
It is the 47 car, so it's got a new sponsor on it every week, so he probably doesn't remember what's on his car, but
he wasn't
wasn't in it long enough to remember what was on it.
No, he's that's not his life right now. No.
Oh boy. Man. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I don't know if we covered that fight enough to do it justice, but I mean, that was the show.
Where's it ranked, James?
Ooh, of all-time fights?
It's pretty high, right?
it's going to be hard to beat. Well, obviously, I mean, what the Allison fight at Daytona?
Oh yeah, that's the top.
That's the all-time.
I mean, that
right?
that made NASCAR.
Yeah, and then Boyer Gordon, I think, is up there.
Yeah, that one's pretty high. I'd say Boyer Gordon's probably a number 2. The whole mess at Charlotte.
Waltrip and Wallace.
Yeah.
Those pit crews fighting at that was an all-star race fight too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What about Clint Boyer punching at Ryan?
Yeah, there's
a lot
that.
of all-star fights.
Yeah.
Can we say this? All-star games in sports suck.
Yeah.
NASCAR's is the best.
I mean, I would argue that this is the only decent one in like the last 10 years. But
nobody has a good all-star event anymore.
No,
really
I have my thoughts on this one too. We'll get to it. Well,
we'll talk about the race eventually.
Yeah, let's talk about the race. How about we talk about, the guy who won, I guess.
Let's do it.
I mean,
let's do it.
It's not like he dominated or anything. He only led 199 and 200 laps. And by the way, the lap he didn't lead was just because his pit stalls before the start-finish line. So when he pitted, he didn't lead that lap.
Are you disappointed that he didn't get it? Kind of would like to have seen the perfect race.
Here's the thing. Like, there was a lot of ripping on this race because of the quality, but I didn't realize till the end of the race that he led all those laps because I wasn't watching the lead.
I knew he was leading all the laps. I thought he lost a couple of them on that because he was battling.
He was trying to get by Bubba.
He was in a couple of battles. Yeah, he was holding off a couple of guys. I thought Chris Bell had stolen a lap or two from him, and he just never.
That's right. Yeah,
he never crossed the line ahead of him. Yeah, but other than that, he just.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do 199, you might as well do 200, right?
Yeah, I kind of wish he would have gotten it. I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since we've seen the perfect run, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. But I mean, James, I didn't think this was a bad race despite his domination, and I tweeted out yesterday, like maybe Joey Logano's not getting the credit he deserves for the ass whooping.
Yeah, it's going to happen from time to time. You're going to have really strong butt kickings. I mean, Martin Truex Jr. has had plenty of these, right? He's kind of known for just sometimes he shows up and kicks everybody's butt.
Right.
And the optics of this race were much improved over last year.
Oh my God!
Because Kyle Larson did this. Kyle Larson did the same thing last year. He destroyed everything.
Yeah. I think
this was the optics of it were better.
This was one of the best All-Star races in the last decade, in my opinion.
Since Stewart in 2009, I would say it's up. It's probably in that. Yeah, it's not as good as that one, but yeah, it's there with that.
I mean, I guess we did have the last one at Charlotte was pretty good, with the sort of next gen package on the old car,
hood scoops and everything. We've used the Charlotte All-Star Race became a testing ground for everything,
right?
At a certain point, but
well, that's a good transition because we tested something this weekend. We tested an option tire. What do you think? Win, dud? What's your assessment of the option tire?
Can I grade it on like an 8F?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's a win, but it's not a fail. So I would say it's like a C plus B minus, like right around there. It didn't do what they wanted to do under the lights.
Let me ask you a question on your grade though.
But it was good. It was decent.
Are you grading the fact that it's an option tire? Or are you grading that tire specifically?
I'm grading the tire specifically because
I'm in the same boat because I don't want the option tire. I just want a tire.
I want one tire. Yeah, I don't like the idea. I don't like the F1 style of all the different.
It doesn't
tires.
matter because everybody does the same damn thing anyway.
Yeah, I was really hoping that tire would fall off.
Yeah,
because that's what they were.
Well, I think it did until it got cold.
Yeah, and that's what Kevin was. Kevin had. Having Kevin drive the 5 car in practice was really insightful. I thought that was actually really good.
Right.
I almost wish we could do that more often. Get some of those guys some seat time, even though it's nearly impossible. But man, if this All-Star race had run in the daytime, I wonder how good it could have been.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been the difference in that tire starting to blister. It just didn't do it under the lights. And the 22 team had it perfect. They just kept the option tire on it and off they went.
Yeah. I I think too many people are still looking at this, and I think NASCAR is still looking at this as having an option tire for races in the future, and I don't want that. I just want a better tire that wears out, and that's it. We don't need 2 tires. It's confusing. Like I said, everybody does the same thing anyway. Yes, some people tried stuff during the All-Star race and it didn't work, but I guarantee you next week, if we had the option tire, they wouldn't do that because they know it doesn't work. These guys are all smart. They're just going to do the same thing. So I don't see any point in having 2 tires. I guess it saves NASCAR a little bit because if you have a Bristol situation where you're running out of tires because they're so bad, you can say, well, at least you can put the hards on. So it saves them a little bit, but I don't know. I think it's a step in the right direction. I 100% agree. I think you're right on the money with the C+, B-. I'd probably lean towards the B- just because it's a positive move. It's not where we want to be yet. And obviously I think somewhere where we want to be is between this and what we had at Bristol. Because Bristol, I think, is the extreme the other direction. But we're making progress, and it sounds like Goodyear's still willing to try. So,
and I think the anticipation from the drivers caught most people off guard because the drivers, like even Denny Hamlin, was saying that this is an awesome tire.
Yeah.
And we're going to see some really cool things. It just didn't work at night. But I hope that during all the practice time and during the Open, Goodyear got the data that they need to make these tires even better. I mean, every lap is a chance to improve.
Even if we don't make this tire better, I want to see this tire come back as the primary tire, as the only tire at one of the upcoming short tracks. Let's try
Loudon.
it.
Yeah, Loudon would be one.
Let's try it and see what happens with it. Let's bring it to race conditions.
Yeah, what's another track coming up that we could possibly run this on?
I don't know. There's a schedule in front of me.
Hold on just a second. I can tell you.
Got Iowa coming.
Iowa's coming, yep. So, we got Loudon, we got Iowa, we got, what about Gateway, or I guess Worldwide Technology? That's actually the next race after Charlotte.
Probably too early to bring it to that. They probably already have their tires built for that.
So that's the next race. And then we go to Sonoma, then Iowa, New Hampshire. Those are all, Iowa, New Hampshire, those are options. And after that, Richmond in August. Because I forgot we have that 2-week break.
Yeah.
In July.
I would love to see them try this at some point yet before Phoenix, because I'd like to see them bring something like this to Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say by Bristol they might be able to have something, which is September. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know that you want to run this at Bristol, though.
Well,
I think Bristol, we have the tire for Bristol. We'll see what happens with it.
Take what you can learn and maybe. But the fact that they were able to create these tires fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I was surprised, right, from everything we've been told.
It helps that they only needed to go 200 laps. They also had 2 sets of tires, so they didn't need enough tires for multiple pit stops. Yep. They just needed 2 sets for the race, so that helped. And plus, you're only fielding. I mean, I guess you have the Open too, but you're only fielding 20 cars in the All-Star race, so
right.
There a lot fewer tires had to be brought. And you have to think, too, when they do the option tires, that now you have to bring double the tires to the track that you brought before. Plus, you're bringing wet weather tires, too. So now you're bringing triple the tires to the track.
Yeah.
If the wet weather tires didn't all float away on Saturday, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
So the other factor of the weekend was the repave. Denny Hamlin famously predicted ahead of time that this was going to be a disaster. Thankfully, Denny was wrong. I know it doesn't happen often, but Denny was wrong. Dale Jr.
He won't get out in front of himself being wrong. He'll
right.
Make sure that he gets out in front of himself being right.
Door Bumper Clear said this is the best repave in NASCAR history. Dale Jr. says it's the best short track in the country right now, and it's only going to get better. What do you think?
There's no agendas being
right. Now, I mean, Junior's not biased at all, but they did a pretty damn good job, right? I mean, there's multiple grooves in this place right from the start.
Well, and I think Kevin Harvick nailed this as well. They repaved the track and kept the characteristics of the track.
That thing that Denny was bitching about a couple weeks ago.
The bump off of turn 4 was really cool. I mean, that caught drivers off guard a couple of times.
It ended William Byron's day.
It who else did it catch? Christopher Bell, I think, at 1.2 got caught up in it.
Well, Denny almost spun coming off of it.
Denny did, yep. Denny had a moment, yep.
Yep.
But yeah, there was a lot of groove to be had. A lot of like there was lanes to be had. Like
Yeah.
you could go low or go high. You know, I thought it worked out really well. I think the track's in great shape. I texted you. I think the biggest winner of the weekend was the track.
I agree.
Just because it was really good.
I agree. I wish we could have gotten to see the cars do a race because those cars would have run really well here. That would have been a fun race.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think 100% win for SMI on this repave. They did a terrific job. And I agree with Junior that it is going to get better. It's not going to get worse. It's gonna weather and get even more fun. James, I want to see a points race here. I know they announced that the All-Star race is coming back next year. Mm-hmm. I think we're doing a disservice to this place, and I want to go further. And I've said this before. I don't want to get rid of the All-Star race, but I think the All-Star race should just be a points race. I don't see the point. We force all these teams to come out to these exhibition races, but they don't get the same reward that they get for a regular race. Why? I mean, it was different back when, $1 million or $500,000 or whatever they gave away at the first one was a big deal, but it's just not that big of a deal anymore. I think it was, who the heck was it this week? Somebody said that they're giving $1 million away for the bracket next year, that this race needs to pay more.
Right.
And it's like, just make it a points race. Or if nothing else, let's give the winner of this race, it counts as a win towards the season. So if you win this race, Joey Logano is now in the playoffs. He doesn't get points. There's no playoff points, but he's locked in the playoffs now because he won the All-Star race. What do you think of that?
Something.
Some incentive to get these guys to race for it a little bit more. Not that they're not racing for it, but
yeah,
I don't see the point of the exhibition race anymore.
Well, the race, I think racers just race. I don't know if it's an effort problem.
Well, I'm not saying that. I just don't see the point of an exhibition, period. It just doesn't make any sense to me, other than the fact that we try stuff at this race and that we do experiments. So that's the one thing I'll give it. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. Let's just make it a regular race.
Yeah, it's
You can run a full field of cars here. They did it in the truck race.
Yeah, I think it would be good to get it.
Ricky Stenhouse would have had to wait an extra 100 or 200 laps to punch Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
but he still wouldn't have been able to leave the track.
I think it will eventually get its points paying day.
I think it will too.
I don't really have a rebuttal to it. I think it's like, well, it's still coming along. It's still, the infrastructure's still being rebuilt. I mean,
but I don't know, man.
We had colossal rains that the track really struggled with. Can you imagine?
Well,
if we had,
here's the thing, though. The track struggled, but do you know why the track struggled? Right? Something clogged the drain.
Well, yeah, I know. Well,
basically, it was from the rumors are, and nobody has said for sure, at least as far as I know. But the rumors are that it was either a pit sign that ended up over the grate.
That would be great.
Or it was a tarp or something that blew off one of the cameras that ended up over it. Or it was a toolbox that was over it. But one way or the other, something was on the drain and plugged the drain, and that's what flooded the track. So don't blame the track for that. It was there was human error there somewhere.
Yeah, and even outside of the track, it's like the parking situation. Like there's infrastructure.
But they made it work, and they didn't have a Kentucky situation where people were late.
Yep. And people are going to pack it regardless, right? Whether it's a all-star race or a regular race, it seems like it's going to be packed.
Yeah,
so.
The DBC guy said traffic was perfect coming out of there. Coming in, you didn't even know anything happened the night before. Kelly Crandall said that on DBC. I mean, I don't know. I think it's there. I think it's ready. I mean,
yeah,
let's just do it.
And maybe after one more, maybe that's it.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
maybe. I will say I think the coolest part of the weekend was watching videos on TikTok from the haulers driving into the track. Cause if you've never been to North Wilkesboro, man, you just you're driving down a 2-lane road through housing and stuff. And it's just like backcountry housing. And all of a sudden your left is a racetrack or to your right is a racetrack. It's just there.
It's amazing that Kyle Larson got there as early as he did.
Yeah. Right.
Like how he...
Yeah, he had no problem getting in there. They were all worried about him making it in time.
Delay the start time for him and everything. I'm like, gosh, he was there plenty of time. You didn't have to delay nothing.
Yeah.
He was good to go.
All-Star race again. Joey Logano gets the win, leads all but one lap. Brad Keselowski led the other lap, but ends up finishing 16th. Anything else with the race really that's worth discussing? I mean, we talked a lot about the track. We mentioned William Byron wrecking and breaking toe link. Christopher Bell ends up 17th. I don't know what happened to him. He was racing for the lead.
I think there was some some guys were gambling.
Yeah.
Late stops. Obviously the tires situation was what it was. Some teams got stuck with the mediums, or excuse me, I'm talking like I'm watching F1. The yellows, right? The prime.
The option. There's the prime and the option is what we were calling them this weekend.
The yellows are the prime. Yeah. When, and going back to this part too, Kyle Larson. Yeah.
He was
showed
up
up
on my list. Had
to go to the back. Somehow managed his tires, figured out the racetrack with no practice time.
Thought he was going to win.
Well, that's the thing. He had the option tire with 40 less laps on it.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure, I'm like, well, he's got this in the bag. But that tire, like Joey, it didn't wear out for Joey. He just kept.
Well, apparently what happened is, I guess Kyle told, I think Kelly Crandall mentioned it on DBC, and I don't know if he told her or she heard, but Kyle said that they pretty much put too much air in it, and it pumped up too much, and
that makes sense.
He lost the handle on it at the end of the run. But
yeah, well, kudos to that 5 team, especially like everything that they have going on right now. But Kevin Harvick in and out of that car, Kevin couldn't speak highly enough how that operation is running over there.
Yeah.
So
right,
Kyle's in a good spot.
What was the line? He heard from the owner twice in 2 weeks.
You got to see the owner twice in a week. Yeah, twice in 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. Again, a lot of criticism for this race from some people, but you can't say
you're not going to hear it here.
You can't say you couldn't pass because Kyle Larson passed and got through the field
with no time.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
Denny Hamlin made it through the field, and here's my thing, James. Everybody needs to start thinking about what you really want. You don't want it to be easy to pass. You want there to be racing.
Yeah.
You don't want single file freight train, but we saw tons of side by side, and you want it to be hard for people to race side by side because then they get into each other, and then they cause wrecks, and then they get people pissed off, and then they fight after the race. That's the stuff we want on short tracks.
And they just want everything to look like Kansas now, or whatever.
But we don't want them to be able to pass easily. We just want them to be able to get side by side.
You want the racing to be close.
Yep. And we had multiple grooves here. We had everything we needed here. I honestly think if you came back with this exact package next year, you're fine. The problem is there's still room for improvement, and the half of the reason that this was a success, if not more, is the fact that the repave was done really well. It is not because the car is suddenly better. It is the track's fault, not the car's fault. The track was excellent, so which is great because we were really afraid that they were going to ruin this place by repaving it. So, anything else with the All-Star race? I'll touch on the Open real quick if we're done with the All-Star.
Yeah, we can touch on the Open now. I think that's good.
Again, domination. Ty Gibbs leads all 100 laps to transfer in. Bubba also transfers in with the second place finish. Josh Berry just misses it. Noah Gragson gets a fan vote. Gets his way in as well. That was cool.
He was very pumped.
Yeah, I loved the crew member wearing the disco ball helmet during driver intros. That was good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Ross Chastain's beer crown as well. That was good. I know you probably were a big fan of that too. I know you're a big Ross Chastain fan. Like everything he does.
He said he was overdressed because he had his flannel on. So he's getting better at the plug. He's getting better at the plug.
Yeah. He was plugging he was plugging the Busch stuff pretty good. I think it was post race. I don't remember when it was he was talking, but maybe it was pre race.
I think it was right before the start of the All-Star race. He was on. Yeah, he was doing his thing. He's not as good as Harvick was. I'll tell you that.
No.
Harvick was really good at schmoozing.
Yeah, he was.
He even said it. Harvick even said it during the broadcast. He caught me off guard because he goes, nobody does a better promotion than those people over at Busch.
Right.
I'm like, God, he still got it in him.
Yeah. I mean, this was a decent race. It looked for a while like the Open was going to be the race again, which it frequently is.
Yeah.
Again, other than up front, because up front wasn't super exciting. but throughout the pack was pretty good.
Yep.
I thought John Hunter Nemechek was going to be the guy that was going to get punched, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
The Open was I don't know. It was just it set the table. It always does, right?
Yeah.
It always sets the table.
yeah, it's a good appetizer.
Yep. But nothing like there wasn't a ton of action in it other than a handful of things had gone down. Austin Cindric got himself in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
With Noah Gragson, by the way.
right.
But Noah was totally fine, got through. But yeah, you hope to see some other guys break through. But Ty Gibbs, he transferred last year, he transferred again this year, and then Bubba got a chance to hush the crowd with his. I know he got booze and got it on camera.
Yeah.
For the All-Star race, but he transferred in too. No real surprises. Justin Haley, I know this is an open race, so not everybody's involved, but man, Justin Haley he's running that 51 car pretty dang good.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. He's got some talent, man.
He's running that car really good. Better than that car's ever performed. Things work out a little differently there. Maybe gets a caution. I don't know. Maybe.
When you run a car like that, you want to overachieve, and he consistently overachieves in the cars he runs.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the Bubba thing. I was going to do it as my shout out, but nice job by a few of these teams putting out some good social content this week. So Bubba had a great video of him coming out and laughing it up that didn't win the fan vote again and whatever, but or guess who didn't win the fan vote, and video from him as he's getting booed and heckled as he goes down the line. That was interesting. Noah Gragson did a super long thing of his day at the All-Star race with some video glasses on. That was hilarious. Ross Chastain's team, Trackhouse, had some stuff behind the scenes of them making there was some artwork done on that crown. If you haven't seen it, that it was more impressive than I thought it was. So they did some good job with social content too. There was a lot of great social content this weekend coming out of this race. So good job to the teams for doing that.
Yep.
And capitalizing on it for sure. I love seeing that stuff. I love seeing that stuff behind the stage. You just don't get to see that very much. Driver intros. So Good stuff. Anything else with the All-Star race? Are we done with that?
Oh, I think we left the All-Star race in the dust. I'm sad.
I know.
Hopefully we'll revisit the fight again soon.
Well, we might revisit it this weekend. We'll see.
Oh, maybe.
At least Kyle Busch is going to get asked about it, and I can't wait to see his response because it's going to be good. He will be pissed off all weekend long because of that.
Yep, he will be.
Camping World, it's not the Camping World Truck Series anymore. It's the Craftsman Truck Series.
Right.
It's been a year now. I don't know why I'm still saying it, but anyway,
$1 in the jar.
The Wright Brand 250 started on Saturday, finished on Sunday. Rained a little bit Saturday, just a touch.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So torrential downpour, pretty insane, the video and stuff from that. But Corey Heim gets himself a win in this one, leads 66 laps to do it. Kind of came on strong in the second half of the race to get the win. I wanted to look at... Go ahead.
Comers and goers in this race.
There was a lot of that.
That's what
And one of the comers was Brendan Queen, man. Butterbean was impressive in this race. Really impressive in this race.
They changed the name on his window. I was so upset.
Oh, do they have Butterbean on it
originally?
They
run the Butterbean. Yeah, they wouldn't let him run Butterbean on it. They made him change it back to Queen.
That's dumb.
I know. He was fast, though.
Yeah. I mean, you'd expect him to be good there.
He's in good equipment, too. But
yeah, he's in good equipment, and he's at a track he's familiar with. But still very cool. I love seeing these late model guys get a shot. I think we'll be hearing more from him down the road.
Yeah, he's gonna be around, I think, for a little while.
This was the Christian Eckes race for a while. He led 62 laps, and then fell to sixth. Some of the late race restarts. Grant Enfinger was coming strong at the end too. Had a legitimate shot to get the win. Lane Riggs, another good run for him. Finishes third.
Mix the names up at the front of the field a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than Corey Heim, who's up front every week.
Right. Sammy Smith, fifth place finish for him.
Jake Garcia led a ton of laps.
Yeah.
In the Duke Thorson ride.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting race. I mean, it was a good race.
No, this was the best race of the weekend. Probably,
yeah, I would agree.
Yep.
Lots of good stuff.
I was looking up Corey Heim stuff just a little bit.
Yeah.
He crashed at Darlington. Outside of that, he has not finished outside of the top 10 all season, and he's barely finished outside of the top 5. So he's putting together a good campaign here to get his first championship. So he's looking pretty strong so far.
Got to be strong in that last race though.
Somehow he's second in points, but other than that, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah. Lane Riggs, highest finishing rookie in third place. Corey Heim's second in points, but only by 4 points behind Christian Eckes. That was Corey's 8th victory in 51 Craftsman Truck Series races.
Third of the season. He's looking like the real deal.
Yeah. Good stuff. Anything else for North Wilkesboro?
I'm bummed it's over, but
Me
we'll
too.
be back.
Me
We'll
too.
see you next year, North Wilkesboro.
It's on my list, James. We'll see.
You're gonna go back, eh?
I would like to go back. We'll see.
You were there for the biggest event though. When it opened, that was a moment.
The revival was pretty sweet. That was good stuff. Got some news, some fresh news today, James. The NASCAR Hall of Fame 2025 class was announced. We're kind of lukewarm on this, right?
It's not
about who's in. It's just the options weren't great this year. We didn't have.
There's not like, well, we don't have a champion going in. That's the
right.
Maybe
that's it. I mean,
there's no Jimmy Johnson or an Earnhardt or a Gordon. I am very happy to see Carl Edwards get in.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I'm not disappointed about anybody who went in. It's just it doesn't have the glitz that we've had the past few years.
We were messaging earlier today, and I said we've let too many people in.
Right.
But I know we gotta still let certain people in every year. But I really don't want to I don't want to dog this class. Like, these are all timers. Like, when I was
you have a hard time with Greg Biffle being on the list of nominees.
I don't like Greg Biffle being mentioned.
Yeah.
He's gonna get in too, which is
he will.
is fine.
He will.
But man, Ricky Rudd making it. So we should probably say who made it. Ricky Rudd, Carl Edwards, Ralph Moody, and then Landmark Award goes to Dr. Dean Sickling.
Yeah.
So, I had no idea who the creator of the Safer Barrier was, and now I know.
There you go.
I'm
not hurt that Rudd's in. I kind of felt like Harry Gant should probably go in before Rudd, but
it's tough.
Both
man.
Rudd and Gant are going to be in, so it doesn't matter which one goes first, I guess.
Ricky Rudd, and I'm trying to, it's tough. Like, Ricky Rudd was never really.
You see, you were in the wrong era for Ricky Rudd, though. You were in the.
Well, I was in the Ricky Rudd was winning one race a year when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's the Ricky Rudd. And then he bothered me because he drove the 28 car, and I didn't.
Right.
After Ernie left the 28 car, that car became like the evil empire to me.
Right.
I didn't want anybody else to drive it because I love that car so much.
Ricky did the Darrell Waltrip thing and left Hendrick and just, he went on his own team and it just didn't work.
Well,
but see, my memory of Ricky Rudd is, flipping it during the Bud shootout or the clash and taping his eyelids open so he could run the Daytona 500 the next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm a little older than you, so I still got some good Ricky Rudd time,
Well, and Ricky was like Kurt Busch did a little bit of this too, where he would just win a race a year. Like,
right.
He'd just win a race a year, and that was what he was. I'd say Ricky, when he started his own team, he probably overachieved.
Yeah.
For the most part, he was always like a top 10 finisher in points, and he was always around. Then it got really bad. He would win a couple of races, but it wasn't. He was never really around.
Right.
But then he got that run with Yates, and that was like the last hurrah. And he had that season in 01 where he was really good. Like, he was up front every week, led a lot of laps. Not really a shot at the championship because Jeff Gordon was on a different
No,
level back
talking
then.
about all-time fights, we had the confrontation with him and Kevin Harvick at Richmond.
Oh, yep. That's a good one. Yep. And then once that Yates thing came to an end, that was pretty much the end of it. He finally fizzled out, but he was in his mid-40s by then.
Right.
So, but then there's Carl Edwards.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. That's more my generation. I was there for the whole thing.
Right. I was there. I was at the track for his first race.
Me too. I was there for that one as well. This is the guy who he did, just to kind of relate it to like our neck of the woods. He Barry Sanders did. He I would say he never even got to his peak.
No, I think 100% agree with you.
I think he left before he even got there, but under his own terms. Whereas, somebody else we were talking about earlier, we were messaging back and forth, like Ernie Irvan, he left, but by the time he got hurt,
right?
We never got to see it. Carl, he was about to win a championship, and walked away.
Yeah, he was one wreck away from a championship.
One restart away from winning a championship. Yep. One block. But that was his fatal flaw. He was not good at restarts, and then his championship came down to a restart.
Yep.
And that was the thing that did him in. But man, Carl Edwards, for a short period of time, he was something, man.
Yeah. He was something when Roush was starting to struggle.
Oh my God.
He was still something,
He was hanging on, and he was winning. He was one of the guys.
And then he goes to Gibbs. I mean,
yep, and just kept winning.
Yeah.
Was hanging around, tried to win a championship. Nobody has lost a championship closer than Carl Edwards.
Right, that's true.
He actually tied for the championship.
That's true. You're right. Not only did he have one championship, but he had two championships that just slipped through his fingers.
Yep, he had two again. Then he's, obviously he also won the Xfinity Series title back when we could do both.
Yeah.
He was always running the Xfinity Series. He was like Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick. I kind of lumped them together. Because they all did the same thing.
Carl was the most committed, though. He would even run the races that were like across the country on the same weekend.
Yeah, he ran all the time. I remember he missed a race once. Probably cost him a shot at the championship. But he ended up, he was top 2 every single dang season he ran. But yeah, Carl
tried to take Dale Jr.'s arm off at Michigan, and after Junior wrecked him in the Xfinity Series race.
he doesn't have good moments.
No, he's definitely got a few.
Yeah, him and Brad had some ugly moments. Remember when he tried to punch Matt Kenseth, his
own teammate?
Punch Matt
Kenseth, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely had some moments, but
like you said, Brad, he did a number on Brad.
Yeah, but his 2008 season is, without the championship, man, what a season. That would have been like if Larson had lost. Or remember when Harvick lost the championship the year he won 9 races? Like that, that's a monster season.
Right.
That try not, but now he won't be forgotten. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. But yeah, that was more my era. Like Carl Edwards was in all the video games I played, and he was just one of those guys. Went toe to toe with Smoke. But yeah, I loved watching that guy race, man. He was a competitor.
Yes, he was.
We're too young for Ralph Moody, right?
I don't really have a whole lot to say here. I know that he's legendary and deserves to be in, but I don't know enough about him to really have a long discussion about him.
Well, even like people our age, we know the Holman Moody name,
right?
The Holman Moody race team. They won championships. David Pearson drove for him. If you've ever seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari, Holman Moody, like that comes up because Ford's trying to build that car to run Le Mans, and they use a Moody engine.
Right.
Like those were the engines they were trying to build their Ford GTs off of to, they call it the NASCAR power unit, but that was the Holman Moody. Those are the Holman Moody cars, man. Those things were legit. Other than that, that's about the extent of, how much I know about Ralph Moody, but but we know the name. Like if you're a NASCAR historian, like I feel like we are, those synonymous with success.
Right.
So good to see him get in.
Well, we officially spent more time on that than we thought we were going to talk about it. So
yeah, we definitely. Oh, that's what we always do.
Yeah. We got some schedule updates over the past week since we recorded last. First of all, we mentioned the All-Star Race will return to North Wilkesboro next year. We also learned the Daytona 500 will be on February 16th. No surprise there. Coca-Cola 600 May 25th. That will be the first race on Prime Video. We kind of knew that already. Atlanta will return to the summer, June 28th. It will be the start of the season for TNT. It will also be the start of the Bracket Challenge as well, right? Or no, the end of the Bracket Challenge. No, the start of the Bracket Challenge.
I think the start of the Bracket Challenge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Championship weekend, as we alluded to last week, is officially going to be at Phoenix Raceway, October 31st through November 2nd on NBC next year. So there you go.
I would probably expect any day now we'll probably get the full schedule.
Yeah, I would assume so. I guess the only real question mark to me, I do wonder if Iowa stays on the schedule. I assume it will. And I wonder about, Mexico City, because we haven't heard finalization on that yet.
Sounds like Mexico is going to come and Richmond's going to lose one.
I would like to see if we're gonna bring Mexico City in, if we're gonna bring another road course. I like the Roval, but let's kill the Roval too, and let's go back to the Oval at Charlotte. In the fall.
That's a Dale Jr. thing too. He's been saying we need to get the Oval back for Charlotte, which I'm okay with. And for that matter, let's kill the street race in Chicago and go back to the Oval there too.
I'm with you there. All on board with that, but that won't happen next year, unfortunately.
No, I was hoping we'd get to Montreal, but that's okay.
Yeah. I'd rather Montreal than Mexico City. I think it's a better track, but
But anyway, that seems to be what's going to happen. Other than that, I would expect the schedule to stay fairly the same.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, more than likely.
I think we talked about Phoenix being the championship race last week. That's always disappointing, but what are you gonna do?
Yep. Small news item this week. There wasn't a whole lot of coverage of it, but Kyle Larson manages to qualify 5th for the Indianapolis 500. Very little media coverage, of course. Not a very big deal.
Ratings for qualifying up 30%.
Right. Man, this dude, I get it. He's only running out there by himself, but holy hell, man.
I think, I know the European people are a little bit frustrated with us, but I think the world now knows what we've already known for many years now.
That NASCAR drivers are really good.
The best driver in the world is ours. He's on our side right now.
Yeah.
That dude, I don't care if he's racing an oval in an IndyCar, whatever we'll put him on a road course and see how he does. I don't care. He's fearless. Absolutely fearless. That was exhilarating watching him out there, knowing that he's a rookie at this, and he's just it's not that scary.
Would you be surprised if Kyle Larson wins the Indy 500 this weekend?
I still would be surprised if
I would not be. It would not even faze me. I would be excited, but it would not surprise me.
I just don't know if his racecraft for the IndyCar will be quite there, but
Kyle freaking Larson.
Dude, if he finishes top 3, I won't be surprised. A win is, that's next level.
I've given up on doubting this kid.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm not going to argue with you.
He's impressed the hell out of me this week.
He's impressed the hell out of everybody all week.
I did not think he'd be in the Fast 6.
He's the fastest man on earth.
He's on the second row of the Indianapolis 500.
He's unbelievable.
It's incredible.
I hope maybe he gets a break. I really hope the weather isn't a problem and someone else that's going to be coming to Charlotte isn't a problem.
I have a question about that. So, there has been talk that NASCAR held the start of the All-Star race to accommodate Kyle Larson getting back.
Yes.
Should NASCAR, if they need to, postpone the start of the Coca-Cola 600 to allow Larson time to get back?
Listen, I tweeted about this earlier this week. I don't like the idea of holding the race for him to get there. Even as much as I want to see him do it and have success, there's something about the challenge is the challenge. I don't know if we need to allow special privileges.
I think it is the biggest PR or the worst PR move in the world if you start the Coca-Cola 600 without Kyle Larson.
But some of the circumstances that are now showing up to Charlotte, including
and I'm not saying, James, that we should hold the start for an hour for the Coca-Cola 600. It's also already the longest race of the year. It's going to run late. I'm talking 15, 20 minutes if you have to. Yeah. Especially if the former president is in town and F's everything up.
Yeah.
Rumor is Trump is going to attend the Coca-Cola 600. I don't like to get political on this podcast, and this is not This is not a political statement over my thoughts of Trump's positioning versus Biden's positioning or whatever, but Trump bashed our sport and bashed Bubba Wallace after the Talladega incident, and I don't think he should be welcomed at a NASCAR track. That's just my opinion.
That's I agree.
I think NASCAR should tell him to go home.
Well, and the grift he tried to pull at F1, where he was trying to raise campaign funds, was pretty sketchy as well. He's always up to something. Yeah. Whether you like him or not, he's up to something.
Yeah. Go ahead and vote for him. Vote for his policies, whatever. He's not welcome in a NASCAR track, if you ask me.
Listen, here's the thing too, that we do have some insight to this. He came to the 500 when he was president. That was a whole show, remember? But very, very recently, the president of the United States was in our backyard, and with Secret Service and everything that comes with it, like that closed down a bunch of roads by my house, and it was kind of a pain.
Right.
My wife got stuck in traffic waiting for the president, trying to get home from work. When the former president also flew into our town a couple weeks ago, there was not that type of security presence.
Right.
So the roads were wide open. The presence that was here for that was more fans and like state police. So I was here for both of those, and it was completely different. Now, if President Biden was coming in and it was Secret Service, I could see it being extremely locked down. Right. I don't know if the Trump thing will be a problem for Larson. Yeah. I don't know. Just from what I saw when Trump was here a couple weeks ago.
Right. Yeah, I would think it'd be certainly much less of an issue with him not being current president.
Biden being here was definitely more of a traffic problem for. And we live, Eric. I mean, we live out in rural Michigan. It's not. We're not in the metropolis like Charlotte. Right. So I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll see.
I like I said, I just think NASCAR should tell him stay away.
I agree. Want you here. Yeah. I agree 100%. We've got other things going on, man. We've got this guy trying to make history. Get out of here.
Yep.
Who knows? Larson wins the Indy 500. Maybe it'll help.
Yeah. Who knows? The weather could crap on it all too. So
the weather could ruin everything.
Yeah. Last news item: charter prices. We could see some issues in the market, James. The market could fluctuate a little bit. Rumor is that SHR and their fire sale could push the prices of charters down, and team owners are not going to be happy about it. But they're looking to go much cheaper than what they went last year for, likely in part due to flooding the market, but also it sounds like they just want to get out and get rid of them. So any thoughts on this? I mean,
I don't know. My thing still is I don't know if it matters yet until we have a deal in place.
Right.
Once we have the charter deal in place, then I don't think SHR has all the pressure to sell. Right? Like they get the power kind of back, right?
Yeah.
Right now they have no power.
It depends on what their incentive is to get out, though. I don't think Gene Haas doesn't need the money.
The money for Gene is not a problem.
So is he just trying to get out, and he doesn't care about the money? In which case, he doesn't care about the agreement.
Well, and I asked you this, and I guess both of us don't quite understand. Does it seem to be that Gene Haas is just selling his half?
I don't know. It sure the hell doesn't seem like Tony's very interested. That's
the other thing. I think Tony. I read an article today that if Tony sold his charters, his net worth would instantly double, which is already at over $90 million currently.
Do you see any reason for Tony to stay in the sport at this point? His attention is elsewhere. What is the point in staying?
That's right.
He's not running the team. Harvick said that himself. And Stewart has said that himself. So what's the point?
Yeah, there's not a...
He doesn't need it for his legacy.
He's already done everything, right? He became an owner in the Cup Series. He won the championship, 2 championships, and a Daytona 500.
It's just an extra headache he doesn't need, just like the Sprint Car Series he sold.
He's also been unloading other things.
Yeah.
And let's be real, Eric. He's 50. Well, his birthday was yesterday, so he's 53, closer to retirement age. Does he really want to have all of these management items underneath him? I what the part that bothers me, about the whole thing is all of these great owners in NASCAR are aging out. They're
Right.
all very old. And I was very excited to have Brad Keselowski and even Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin as a younger person who's, could lead us a little bit, and Tony Stewart. And, now if Tony's getting out, who does that open the door for?
But that's the thing, though, is Tony's
don't like
out already. He's out.
Well, yeah, it's not
He's
his
not
primary.
here.
It's not his primary objective in life anymore, and that's fine. He's
Right.
moved on.
Yeah, I
He's moved
don't
on.
fault him for that. But
Yeah.
then cut the cord and be done with it.
Yeah,
Which sounds like that might be what's happening.
but I think they still have to wait for the charter agreement to get done.
Yeah,
which
maybe.
My hope for this is that they sell 2 charters and merge with Front Row, and Stewart is still involved, where to the point where he could eventually maybe come back someday.
Sell
But
it to Junior.
Well, that's the other thing. Why wouldn't you call up Dale Jr.?
Because
Like,
Dale
hey, man,
Jr. ain't going to open his wallet. That's the problem.
sell 2 charters and then tell Dale Jr., hey man, buy one more, and let's run this thing. That would be awesome.
Problem is even the money, even the lower price these have gone down to, Junior ain't going to pay.
Junior's pretty tight with the wallet.
He's very
so.
tight, which you would never know it looking at that shop, because it's a cup shop.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he did negotiate a free fifth wheel for his family.
Right.
So I watched that whole process.
And the boat,
online.
right? Didn't he get a free
Yeah.
boat too?
Yeah, I think he got a free
He
boat.
cheaped out on the boat, wouldn't go on the boat with TJ.
Yeah.
So
Yep. That's funny.
Junior's cheap. He's an eBay guy, man.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
exactly.
He's buying off eBay. He's not shopping in the expensive shopping malls, James. He is buying on eBay. That's Dale Jr.
That's Dale Jr. Yep.
He's not in the market for a charter. It just isn't. It's just not him.
Yep. I selfishly, I want Tony to be involved, even if it's to the point where he's gone for a while, but he comes back to it eventually.
Yeah.
But if he's not interested anymore, then he's not doing anybody else a favor. The problem is also the drivers. Like, I was reading about how Chase Briscoe's not able to even look at other opportunities right now because of the way his contract is set up. Like, he couldn't call anybody anyway.
Right.
At this point, so I don't want to see somebody like him, and then you've got poachers looking around at Noah Gragson going, oh, he's going to be available. We got to get him. So it's just
Gregson's got nothing to worry about.
Sounds like Gregson's going to be fine.
He'll have a ride, which is good. Good to see that. I mean, the fan vote definitely helped him this week too, I'm sure.
And then like Josh Berry just got there.
Yeah.
And you're messing with him a little bit, and I just hope Tony's not rubbing too many people the wrong way on his way out the door, if that's the case.
Well,
let's get it done.
Sounds like nobody knows anything, so that's not a good start. So.
Well, and the problem is the damn charter agreement. I go back to that. Like, what are they supposed to do? They can't sell them. They don't mean anything right now. They're basically nothing.
Right.
Until they have an agreement in place. So.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hopefully that gets done and they can make it happen.
Yeah. And that's it for news, I believe.
I think so. I haven't seen anything else come through.
Looking at the Twitters right now, but
Richard Childress threatening Ricky Stenhouse.
Oh, yeah. There
breaking news.
There it is from Couch Racer right there on the top of my Twitter feed.
Richard Childress.
Hold my watch.
I wouldn't want to fight him.
No.
I'll tell you that.
No, I rode in a car with him. We went 160 miles an hour. I'm not fighting that guy.
He doesn't care. He's got nothing to fear.
No. James, this weekend is the greatest weekend in motorsports. The greatest day in motorsports is Sunday.
This is.
There's all kinds of racing action this weekend. NASCAR Cup Series in action. The Coca-Cola 600 Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The Xfinity Series on Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The Bet MGM 300. The Craftsman Truck Series in action on Friday night, 8:30 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. The North Carolina Education Lottery 200. And, don't forget, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., ABC Monaco Grand Prix.
The parade. We got our parade.
The race will suck, but the spectacle is amazing. Yep. And then arguably the best race of the weekend every year, my favorite race of the year. I wish it happened more than once. The Indianapolis 500, 11 a.m. Eastern, NBC on Sunday. I am going to try and make my schedule to where I can at least watch that race live. So hopefully the weather doesn't screw me up. But that is my plan. The rest of the stuff I'm going to be missing. It's going to be when I get a chance to see it. If I do, it might be highlights this weekend for me.
That's all right. You're a busy man.
Yeah. With that programming note, we don't know what the hell's happening with the podcast next week. It could be James on his own. Could be James and I. I'm pretty sure there will be a podcast. I think we've got it worked out to where we should have a podcast of some sort next week. Don't know for sure what day it'll go up, but it'll all depend on the weather and the schedule and all that stuff. So we'll have something for you guys, but it'll be a little bit different next week, more than likely. So
we'll figure it out.
If we do get together, it probably will be shorter than normal. We might just rush through everything, but we'll see. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. So
Yep.
With that though, James, we get to make our picks for the Coca-Cola 600. And I did not prepare for this in advance, so I don't know who I'm picking. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to go with Redemption, and I'm going to go Chris Buescher. That's my pick. Coca-Cola 600.
So since we started racing the Coke 600 with the next-gen car, looking at the top 5 for average finishes, Kyle Busch, number 1.
Interesting.
Ricky Stenhouse, number 4.
Oh, boy.
And Kevin Harvick's on that list, so technically he's number 3.
Are we betting on whether Ricky actually wrecks him this weekend or not?
I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? Zane Smith's up there, too, by the way. Only one start, but
nice.
That's pretty cool. I will take... oh, man. Who was your pick again? You picked...
Chris Buescher.
Chris Buescher. I'll take Tyler Reddick.
Okay. That was actually my other pick. That was who else I was thinking, but
Chris Buescher's going to be tough. Blaney's going to be tough here. We should mention him at least.
I agree. I actually picked Chris Buescher last week. I was prepared to pick Chris Buescher. I think his time is here.
I was about to pick Joey Logano last week, and I said no. He's been crap all season. Yeah. And then I went with Chase Elliott. I would have been 2 in a row.
Give him a new track.
Kicking myself.
New track, new surface. Yep. Joey Logano.
New surface. If something changes, just pick Joey Logano. You know what I'm doing for Iowa? Picking Joey Logano.
There you go. That's a good choice. No fantasy league this week, thank God, so we don't have to talk about that.
Thank Christ. I don't want to talk about the fantasy league.
Checkered flags, I already gave mine. You got any checkered flags this week, James?
Well, I kind of talked about him earlier, but that giant dude for Richard Childress Racing that was throwing people around, that was... he gets my checkered flag. The media members who were at that fight, they all get a checkered flag from me.
Yeah.
And then I have a funny tweet I just stumbled upon from someone called Pigskin Petey.
Oh, no.
Ricky Stenhouse has now accomplished 4 things in his NASCAR career. 1, date Danica Patrick. 2, crash consistently. 3, somehow win a race. And 4, punch Kyle Busch.
There you go.
Man, Twitter or X or whatever the heck you want to call it, that's the gift that keeps on giving, man. There's so many good people on there doing saying funny crap. It's a cesspool, but there's some really funny stuff on there. That's why I can't quit it.
Good stuff. Black flags, I kind of already gave mine, but I will officially give it, and that is Mr. Stenhouse Sr. For getting involved in this kid's stuff. Stay out of it. Leave Kyle alone.
Dad.
Yeah, Dad, get my dad. And Ricky Stenhouse for the shorts. Come on, man.
Oh, jeez.
The shorts are ridiculous.
The shorts.
Any black flags, James?
I got a quick one.
Yeah.
And I just realized I'm doing it. I'm wearing my Ricky Stenhouse shirt.
That's funny.
Because I was watching one of Ricky's post-race interviews, and he has a gray mesh Eddie Bauer t-shirt. And I looked at it and I said, holy crap, I have the same t-shirt as Ricky Stenhouse. And I just looked down and I go, oh crap, I'm wearing that shirt right now. So I guess that's a black flag for me. If everybody's making fun of Ricky's outfit and I have the t-shirt.
Well, the shirt isn't the problem. The shorts are the problem.
Well, my short collection's probably not much better. I still have cargo involved in some of my short selections.
Oh, I wear cargo shorts.
Dude,
those are dad shorts, man.
You can't go wrong. The extra pockets for everything.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Need them. Especially when you got kids, you need them.
Right.
Gotta have it.
No, definitely. Don't hate on the cargo shorts, man. I'd wear cargo pants if I could, but
hey, man, I wear cargo shorts all the time. It's all good.
Awesome. There was something else I was going to say with regard to Stenhouse, but I don't remember what it was. So
thank you. How about thank you?
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Funny that it happens with Stenhouse, because if you were to ask me nicest drivers in the garage. And I've said it on this podcast before. Stenhouse is like top 3 for me.
He's up there.
He's one of the nicest drivers. He gave the boys a fist bump when we went to Atlanta and got to meet him. He's a good dude. He's a very nice guy. Always been real good to talk to in the media center. He answer your questions, very cordial. Like I said, definitely one of the best. And
500 champ.
Yeah, that's what happens when you piss him off. I mean, he said on Stacking Pennies this week, that was a big deal for them. It's a single car team to be in the All-Star race off a Daytona 500 win and to get taken out on lap 2. I get it. I understand why he was pissed.
Did he wear a championship belt to Stacking Pennies?
No, I don't think he did.
I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of him.
Well, I only saw a clip. I didn't watch the whole show, so maybe he did.
I saw a picture of him with the WWE championship belt.
Well, if he did that, then he gets a black flag from me too. So he's probably trying to cover up the shorts.
Yeah.
One other thing we didn't touch on, James, the driver that won the All-Star race, by the way, leading 199 of 200 laps, also says that he ran about 800 laps of testing at North Wilkesboro on the tire test. So
testing might be important, eh?
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we should limit the tests, the tire tests, the laps, no 800 lap test sessions. But anyway, short track corner, got a few items on here this week. The JEG CRA All-Star Tour heads to Wasso Speedway this weekend for their big show. I will not be out there for that, but they will be. So worth checking out. Wasso Speedway, I've mentioned on here before. Pretty awesome place. Speaking of Wasso Speedway, Steve Needles gets the win in the Reveal the Hammer Late Model Series, first race of the season at Wasso Speedway last Saturday night. We mentioned the Cars Tour races at North Wilkesboro were both rained out. Rescheduled dates TBA, so nothing announced at this point, but they are supposedly going to be racing again at North Wilkesboro yet this year. Both late model stocks and the pro late models for the Cars Tour will be in action at Tri-County Speedway in Granite Falls, North Carolina this Saturday. Of course, races on Flow Racing if you want to check them out. There's your short track corner. Anything else? We miss anything, James?
What a week.
What a week. What a week and what a weekend we're going into.
Yep. Great time to be a race fan.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The yachts are pulling into Monaco. It's time to go racing.
Yes, yes. James, where can people hit you up on social media if they want to chat with you about all the great racing this weekend?
Yes, at James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Wherever you found us today, please subscribe and continue to listen for new episodes each week. And if you go to anchor.fm/TheSuperspeedway, you can leave us an audio message, and we might just play it on the show. Greatest day in motorsports this Sunday, Monaco Grand Prix, Indianapolis 500, Coca-Cola 600, all in the same day. I will not be doing the triple this year, unfortunately, but we'll be back. One of us, or both of us, or none of us, somehow we'll be back next week to break it all down and talk about it and preview Gateway. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.